Firstly, I just like to say thank you for the work that you've done so far for SSTC. It's been great having you on board. It's like a great blend of skills, I think, between more on the technical side and more on the legal side. And of course, that has bumped you into the legal tech field. So maybe you could tell us like how you bumped into the legal tech field over the first few weeks you've been with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you say, I've kind of bumped into it in two ways. In my own practice, so we've been doing some contract creation with the company recently, and so that's bumped me into these tools in a personal sense, and that I've been looking for tools to aid us in making that process, more efficient and more precise. But then also in looking for those tools, you'd actually pointed me to some people in your network to speak to, and so I'd obviously you know gotten a great chance to speak to some experts in the field about sort of what tools they're working on and how they see sort of peers and colleagues in the space working on new and exciting tools.
Great, glad to know that was a value. So, of course, not everyone knows what legal tech is. So maybe a good way to start is just give us your definition and how it breaks down.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it really breaks down into two main categories. You have kind of the legal business software, which that while it's not really been called legal tech, that's been technology that's been used by the legal field for pretty much as long as business software has been in the professional services space. But the sector that we've really seen radical change in the last sort of 3 to 5 years is kind of the legal practice space. So technology that helps lawyers do specifically their practice of law. That really has seen dramatic shifts in the last few years.
So maybe you could give us some examples of where firms have like absorbed that shift.
Yeah. I mean, so like the key large businesses in the UK legal space have been really keen to adopt these new powerful technologies and to kind of be the first to bring it in. And what we're really seeing is that those companies, the way that they're doing that is to develop either technology subsidiaries or strategic partnerships with technology companies to develop, almost tailor-made softwares to be integrated into how they use technology. So you have something like Clifford Chance with, I think it's CreateIQ, is a subsidiary of theirs. And then that's a big part of the development of a software called Kira, which they now use. It's an AI tool that's used for document and contract review. And so, yeah, they found, rather than going out and procuring these technologies, if they really want to be on the pulse of this, to actually either be partnered with a technology company or in some cases to be spinning off their own tech subsidiaries.
So that's what's happening right now. So where do you forecast this going in the next 3 to 5 years, let's say?
Right, absolutely. I mean, traditionally you would have thought of law firms, lawyers, and legal companies as quite risk averse, and I think that does bleed through in the fact that at the moment, when incorporating things like AI tools and large language models, it's been a lot more process driven in things that are easily automatable, like contract review, document review, things like that. Not as much on the sort of strategic side of things, which I think we're just starting to see now. Things like litigation strategy planning tools that are, not making the high level decisions, but at least informing the higher level decisions. And I think that's a trend that we will probably see continue as this technology gets a bit more comfortable in these firms, is that they will start incorporating it into more strategic decisions rather than just the automation of processes.
And how do you see this bleeding into the broader world of work?
Well, again, as I was saying, you wouldn't normally have thought of the legal space as being the first to sort of jump on new technologies. They're, as a cohort of people, generally thought of as very risk averse. And so I think part of why these tools have been specifically jumped on by the legal field is just that they're so good at specifically what lawyers do. Large language models deal specifically with language and text, and a lot of what lawyers do is comprehend and digest large bodies of text. So specifically, this technology is very good at automating and improving the things that lawyers do. And so I think we will see this filter through the professional services space kind of in order of how good these tools are at automating and improving what professionals do and how much advantage each of these firms can gain by jumping on these new technologies.
So to read that back, so any profession that is largely based upon comprehending large amounts of text to find nuance, meaning, and argument and persuasion in and of itself would be more subject to looking at the legal profession as a leading light in this field.
Exactly. I think it will serve as a bit of a canary in the coal mine for any businesses that deal with these large amounts of text and language and sentiment and argument. They will gain the most advantage from incorporating these tools, and I think that will filter through into how quickly they look to adopt them.
Well, thank you very much for your insight on this occasion. We look forward to your next one. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.